Nikki admits that she has a lot of resentment towards her 5-year-old daughter, Lexi. Her relationship with Lexi's father ended not long after she was born. Nikki feels like her daughter is to blame. Tell me about this. You see him in her.
Yeah, I do.
So what do you mean by that?
I see his face in her. I see what he does in her.
So you look at her and see him in both conduct and appearance. And so you're bullying her because of your resentment towards him.
I take out my frustration from him on her.
This is an innocent 5-year-old child. She didn't do anything, but somehow or another, you give yourself permission to abuse this child because she has the genetic misfortune of looking like somebody you don't like?
It's just my anger level is so high, and it's just with her and some of the things that she does just sends me over the edge. And I start screaming at her.
Like coloring outside the lines.
There's that. There's asking me for something. She'll come and ask me, can I have ice cream for breakfast? No, that's not okay.
She's fine.
I say, well, I tell her no. Eat some pancakes, eat some waffles, eat something good. She'll run to my grandmother, and my grandmother will say yes, and she'll get it. And that just sends me over the edge. So I do yell at her because I don't feel that she should eat ice cream at 5 years old for breakfast. It's a bad thing.
I would rather her immerse herself in ice cream than put up with you screaming at her. That's 10 times worse, right?
It is.
But you're saying, I don't want to contaminate her with something negative, so instead, I'll intimidate her, yell at her, scream at her, threaten her, scare her, traumatize her. That can't possibly. Has nobody ever had this conversation with you?
I can't talk to anybody in my family about things like this.
But nobody's ever had this. Has anybody ever looked you in the eye and says, this is not okay? No. Look me in the eye. This is not okay. This is not mothering with frustration. This is child abuse. There is there's no other way to describe this. This is child abuse, and you are guilty.
Right.
You are an offending parent. You are an offending parent here, Jack. I know you don't mean to be.
Yeah.
I know nobody's ever put this in context for you, but I've always said, if we stand around and watch somebody bully somebody else and do nothing about it, if kids at school are watching somebody bully another kid on the playground and they just stand there and watch it and do nothing, they're as guilty as the bully. You are as guilty as this woman, in my view, because you let it happen, and you do it because you're afraid of her. She bullies you too.
Right.
You're intimidated by the price she's going to make you pay if you have the audacity to stand up and protect this innocent child.
Yes.
What does she do to you?
She screams and yells at me. She's never raised a hand to me. At times, she'll take off and just go out driving. And when she's upset, she drives overly aggressively, and that scares me to death. One of her big things is she goes shopping to a point where accounts are overdrawn.
So you're just fully self-indulgent. You yell because you wanna, and then if you get upset, you're a shopaholic. You go out and buy hundreds of dollars worth of things that you can't afford to buy.
Basically, yeah.
And is your theory that you don't hit her very often, and therefore...
I don't hit her at all anymore.
Anymore? And you stop because...
I never hit her a lot before, but I stopped hitting her in general because there was a certain time that I lost it. And I did stop. When he stopped me, I did realize, oh my God, I'm gonna go to jail.
But yelling is less bad, right? At least you're not hitting her.
Yeah, in my eyes.
Do you understand that people having bad reactions psychologically, mentally, emotionally is 7 times greater with verbal abuse than it is even with sexual abuse? Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.